Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining today's Indeed Jobcast on how to succeed at a virtual hiring event. I'm Jennifer Harity and I'm a certified career coach here at Indeed with over 10 years of career services experience, personally working with hundreds of job seekers from a variety of industries. And over that time, I've helped people prepare for virtual hiring events, and today I'll be doing the same for you. We'll be covering best practices that will help you succeed at your next virtual hiring event interview. Now, in this webinar, we're going to be giving you a brief overview of what virtual hiring events are and discussing best practices for successfully navigating these events, including tips to prepare, video interview pointers, how to troubleshoot if you run into issues during your virtual interview, and what you should do after the event. And we'll also save some time at the end for questions. And we know the spread of COVID-19 continues to have a profound impact on the way we work and live. At Indeed, we're here to help you navigate your job search every step of the way. Our mission is to help people get jobs, and now this mission is more important to us than ever. If you want more information on how to navigate the job search amid COVID-19, you can visit our resources at indeed.com/here to help. Know that you are not alone during this time and that we're here to help you. So what is a virtual hiring event? A virtual hiring event is an event where employers accept job applications and conduct virtual interviews in group and individual formats. Many employers are moving in this direction as new developments arise due to COVID-19, and this is a unique opportunity for you to meet with them without having to leave the safety of your home. A virtual hiring event may also lead to job offers on the spot, which will significantly reduce the time waiting in your job search. And success at a virtual hiring event is really about preparing beforehand, arriving on time, looking your best, and leaving the hiring staff with a great impression. If you're attending this webinar in preparation for an Indeed virtual hiring event, you'll likely already know how to find these hiring events on Indeed. If not, here's a quick guide on how to find these events in the future. You can find virtual and in-person hiring events in your results when searching on Indeed. And you can also search for them directly by typing Indeed hiring events in the What field on the Indeed homepage. Today we're going to spend our time discussing how to prepare for your interview and how you can best position yourself to get the job by tackling any technical challenges that may come your way during the virtual event. You want to spend as much time preparing for virtual hiring events as you would for an in-person interview. And attending this webinar is a great sign that you're already on the right track. The impact of this preparation will be noticeable in how natural your answers come across and how confidently you present yourself. So let's jump into some general tips about how to prepare for these virtual hiring events. The best first step is to read the event description. Within the description of a hiring event, you'll find that employers will leave important clues about what to expect. Look for details about indications if they plan to make offers on the spot or if this is just a first interview in a series of interviews. Other details that may be included might be job requirements, such as any necessary certifications that you might need to hold, or any other information that will help you determine if the role is a right fit for you. Employers may also let you know if there's anything that you need to prepare in advance, if there are materials that you need to bring, and they might also give indications on what you should wear to the event and to the interview. Now, event descriptions are great at giving you some introductory information, but try to take your preparation a step further by researching the company before the interview and try to include some of the insights that you gain into the conversation that you have with the interviewer. Take a look at the About Us or product or service offering pages on the company's website to learn more about what their mission and values are. If you find something that resonates with you, work it into the conversation. For example, if you see that the company you're interviewing with is active in the community, mention that this aligns with your desire to work with a community-focused organization. This will indicate to the employer that you've already spent your time investing in them, so you might be somebody for them to invest in as well. And Indeed, company pages are a really good place to find reviews from current and former employees about what it's really like to work there. You can skim Q&As about what their interview process is like. You can view photos and videos posted from the company's social media channels as well. Visit Indeed.com/companies and search for the employer name to find their company page. And if you're looking for more tips on how to research companies, be sure to check out the Indeed Career Guide article, The Complete Guide to Researching a Company, and that's posted in the chat. Once you've conducted your research, the first place you can put your newly gained knowledge into practice is when updating your resume. With your deeper understanding of the employer and the skills required for the role, review your resume to make sure you're positioning your experience in a way that's relevant to the job that's being offered at the event. For example, if a specific role is mentioned that you're interested in, be sure to tailor your professional summary to specifically state that role and that you're seeking it. Use the information you found in the event description to guide the skills and accomplishments from your past work experience that you want to highlight. You want to make sure that your resume is updated so that employers can easily see how your background meets the job requirements. And finally, practice. You want to start by timing your answers. It's common for virtual hiring event interviews to be shorter than a traditional interview, so practice your elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a 1 minute or less summary of who you are and how you could be a good fit for a role. Having a solid elevator pitch is a good way to concisely sell yourself during the interview. Think about including information about who you are as a professional and what career goals you have that are relevant to their company and their role offerings. Ask yourself questions like, are you good at data and numbers, or are you more of a creative expert? Do you have excellent customer service experience? Describing what you like, what you're good at, and how you can contribute to a company is key during an interview. Use your resume as a guide for prepping. While you don't want to just repeat the information found on your resume, you can refer to key accomplishments, including quantifiable impact. For example, you can mention that you received an award for outstanding performance, or if you've maintained a certain level of productivity in your previous roles. Be prepared to ask at least one question during your interview. Since these interviews are often condensed, you might only have the opportunity to ask one question, so make it a good one. Some example questions that you can consider asking to learn more about the company or the role are, can you describe the working culture of the company? How does this company measure success in the role? And what is your company's customer service philosophy? If you're interested in seeing more examples of questions to ask, you can find the Career Guide article, 10 Questions to Ask After an Interview, linked in the chat. And lastly, don't forget about the tech. If you're new to interviewing by video or borrowing equipment from a friend, you want to test the camera, the microphone, and make sure you have a secure internet connection at least one day in advance. Do this before the interview to prevent things going wrong the day of. And before we jump into best practices, the next couple of slides are going to have a lot of information on them, but you don't really need to worry about taking notes. As a reminder, we will be sending out this presentation by email later. And if you're interested, you can also take a screenshot of the information by using some keyboard shortcuts. If you're screenshotting on a Mac, press and hold these 3 keys together. Shift, Command, and the number 3. This will capture your entire screen. If you're screenshotting on a PC, press and hold Alt plus print screen. And if you're interested, you can also review the article, Video Interview Guide, Tips for a Successful Interview for more information. Now for some general best practices. To avoid interruption, alert others that you can't be disturbed during the times of your interview. Leaving a note on the door of the room that you're in may be helpful. For instance, give yourself 15 to 30 minutes before and after the scheduled interview time, just in case the interview runs over. And this is less likely to happen during a virtual interview, but it's a really good practice to establish. I would recommend facing a door as well. So if the camera is facing the wall behind you, that way if somebody does enter the room, they're not immediately visible on camera. And it's really easy to give a nod to that person who's come in to let them know that you can't be disturbed, or they might even catch on their own to the fact that you're in an interview and just leave. Also, adjust the lights in the room. If things appear dark or dim, you may want to bring in an extra desk lamp to brighten up the space. Another good tip is to clear your desk space except for a notepad or a pen and pencil that you need to take notes. And you should also have a copy of your resume handy or any other notes that you'd like to reference. It's also a good idea to set out some water for yourself. It's amazing how dry your throat can start to feel once you start talking, so keeping water nearby is a really good practice just in case your throat starts to feel a little bit scratchy. Because these events rely on the use of technology, it's best to check your tech before the day of the event. Test your webcam and audio, and make sure your internet connection is strong. Another tip is to ensure that you don't have anything downloading in the background. You want to try and limit your interruptions and distractions. So close any windows, tabs, or applications on your computer that you're not using during the interview. Also, be sure to pause any calendar notifications, any messenger apps, because you don't want to be disturbed or interrupted by any sounds or any visuals. It's a good idea to place your phone on silent as well. And a quick note about what to do if you don't have the necessary technology needed to attend a virtual interview. First, explore the resources available at a public library in your area. Some libraries have private rooms that you can reserve, and they may also be able to loan you the equipment needed. And I know this might be hard to do right now because some public services are still closed or they're enforcing social distancing mandates. So an alternative solution is to just ask a friend or family if they have the equipment that you can borrow. If you do borrow the equipment, be sure to pick it up at least a day before to give yourself the time that you need to test and make sure that you're not having any issues connecting to the internet or using the technology. If you are taking part in a video hiring event, like the one that's happening this week, these Zoom tips will be particularly helpful to you. Zoom is a popular video conferencing app that has increased in usage due to the impact of COVID-19 and the effect that it's had on in-person interviews. So here are some Zoom-specific tips that are really good to implement as soon as you schedule your virtual interview. First, add your invitation information to your calendar. Then download the Zoom app and test it before the day of the interview. You'll need to create a Zoom account. When you do this, you'll have the opportunity to add a photo and add the name that appears when you join the meeting. Be sure to keep the photo professional and use the name that is reflected on your resume. Create a test meeting before to make sure that you have no issues connecting your computer's microphone or camera. On the day of the event, try to join the interview 5 minutes prior to test your speaker and microphone if possible. Even though you've tested these in advance, you'll want to save time to test these again the day of as well. And when it's time, you'll see the message, "You've been assigned to a breakout room." Accept this invitation by clicking Join Breakout Room. Now, when it comes to dressing for a virtual hiring event, you should dress as professionally as you would for an in-person interview. Take note of how others are dressed when researching the company website, but be sure to keep your attire at least business casual. Even if you're interviewing for a tech company that appears very casual, you'll want to try to wear a button-down shirt or a nice blouse for the interview. Bright colors and patterns on clothing can sometimes be affected by the camera, so it's best to avoid these in general. Wear soft, solid colors instead. And if you wear glasses, adjust the lighting in the room to reduce the glare from your lenses that can obstruct your eyes. You should try to position the camera so that you're looking up slightly and are centered on the screen. Even though it's likely that the interviewer will only see the upper half, be sure to wear professional bottoms just in case you have to stand up for any reason. And just like a traditional interview, be aware of how important your body language is. Eye contact even more so because the camera is centered on your face. To ensure that you're making good eye contact, make a conscious effort to look at the webcam, not just the image of the interviewer on the screen. You should also convey excitement for the role by trying to keep a good energy level up throughout the interview. You can convey this in a few different ways. One, be sure to maintain good posture by sitting up in a chair with your back straight and your shoulders open. Another way is to nod and smile as appropriate when listening to the interviewer. This indicates that you're giving them your full attention. And you can show some animation with hand gestures as appropriate, but avoid fidgeting or gazing away from your screen. And one thing that you can expect when participating in a virtual hiring event is waiting for your turn to interview. These events are open to many people at once, and this means that you may need to wait in a virtual lobby for your turn. And it's common for candidates to be interviewed on a first-come, first-served basis. RSVPing in advance lets employers know, it gives them a better idea of how many candidates they can expect to be in attendance. So as a best practice, try to arrive a little bit early, as close to the interview time, as close to the hiring event start time as possible. There's also the possibility that employers are not able to meet with everyone during the event timeframe, so they might ask you to return and interview on another day. Now, since you're already anticipating that there's going to be a wait, be prepared to use that time to your advantage. Now, I found that there's a couple of directions that you can go when looking at how to use your time. Some people like to stay focused and stay relaxed before an interview, so you could listen to music that energizes you, you could read a book, or maybe practice some breathing exercises. You can also use this time to practice your elevator pitch or review your resume for key highlights that show you that you're a good fit for the role. The important thing is that you're spending your time on activities that are going to help you stay calm and help you feel prepared for the upcoming interview. Now, when working with technology, there's always an opportunity for things to go wrong. Let's go over some helpful tips for what you can do when things don't go as planned. Since virtual hiring events are conducted by phone or by video, it's best to plan ahead for technical difficulties that might impair your ability to communicate. At the start of your interview, ask if you can provide your phone number or perhaps receive the number of the person you're interviewing with for the specific person of continuing the interview if connectivity is lost. If you can continue the interview by phone, ask if you can continue the interview by phone. But if video is imperative, make plans to reschedule for another time. Another scenario to prepare for is noise interruption. Since many of us are working from home, it's possible to have noises from sirens, nearby construction, or neighbors that interrupt the interview. If you're already in the quietest location of the building and this happens, apologize for the interruption and ask for a few moments for the noise to subside. You can also mute the microphone if the noise is severe. If you share a living space or connecting from a public area, you're often at the mercy of your surroundings. If during your interview a family member, housemate, or pet enters the room, just play it cool. Start by apologizing to the interviewer and ask for a few moments. Be sure to mute your microphone and turn off your camera. Then step away to deal with the interruption. Make sure that the room is secure before beginning the interview again. Planning ahead and staying calm when issues arrive, they actually achieves a couple of goals. One, it ensures that the interview continues to go smoothly, even if there's a small hiccup. And two, maybe more importantly, it demonstrates to the interviewer that how you can behave in challenging situations. Now, as you wrap up your interviews, be sure to ask the recruiters at the event for their email contact information. Within 24 hours after your interview, send them a follow-up email that expresses appreciation for their time, and it also should reiterate your interest in the role. Thank you letters are simple final touches that can help you stand out from other candidates. All right, time for Q&A. Let's jump into some questions that have come in from the Indeed community. Our first question is, what are the benefits for attending a virtual hiring event for job applicants? So this is a really great question. When you compare this type of event to another interview format, like a phone interview, you really get a chance to show yourself off and tell your whole story. You aren't being judged on voice alone, and you can really shine with your body language and with your facial expressions. Also, you don't have to worry about the logistical complications that come with interviewing in person because there's no commute. This means you don't have to deal with the complications of traffic or parking or anything like that. And you can also maximize this extra time by practicing your elevator pitch just one more time or taking the time to relax before the start of your interview. Now, some employers like to participate in virtual hiring events when they're urgently hiring. So this could also lead to job offers being made on the spot, which really reduce the time spent waiting within your job search. And most importantly, they're the health benefits. Virtual hiring events allow you to stay active in your job search by interviewing from the safety of your own home and really reducing the exposure that you have to others. Next question. What should I do when my mind goes blank during a behavioral interview question? So let's be honest, this happens to everybody at some point, especially in high-stress situations like an interview. I'd suggest you buy yourself some time by clarifying the question. Just repeat it back to them. And that should give you a moment to collect your thoughts. Proactively have notes that you can reference to jog your memory on hand. Maybe even a glimpse at your resume might get the wheels turning again. If you really don't have the answer because it's a behavioral-based question for a situation that you've never experienced before, you can also either use a closely related experience or even walk them through what you would do based on your personality and your ethics. You can say something like, I've been fortunate enough that I haven't had any difficulties with any coworkers, but this is what I would do if I did. And then walk them through your process and describe how you would handle it. Next question. How are virtual interviews different from in-person interviews? When you participate in a virtual interview, because the camera is framing your upper body and face, you want to pay attention to what you're communicating non-verbally. Try to make eye contact for a few seconds at a time by looking directly at the webcam, maintain good posture, and smile and nod to let the interviewer know that you're ready to answer the next question. And like always, you should always try to be polite. Another difference you face are the technical issues. Technical issues can be a challenge, so test your connection, microphone, and speakers ahead of time. If you need to download an app, make sure that it works and it's up to date before the day of the interview. And finally, how can I prepare for a virtual interview? So this is a great question to end with because we can do a quick recap of what we covered today. Similarly to how you would prepare for an in-person interview, make sure that you research the company and practice some common questions. Take time to nail down your elevator pitch, which should be 1 minute long. Also, review both the event and the job description. Prepare to ask questions about the role and the company. And really read the interview instructions carefully to ensure that you have any links that you need to access in terms of reaching the video interview, and be sure to fill out an application if needed in advance. Lastly, just like you would if you were attending an in-person interview, choose something that feels comfortable to be in, even though it might be tempting to wear casual bottoms, wear nice pants or a skirt just in case you have to stand up. I hope you found this information to be helpful. While you're at home, if you want to watch some of our other webinars on job-related topics, which include navigating the job search amid COVID-19, you can find that along with other recordings available on our Indeed Jobcast page at go.indeed.com/jobcast. And join the conversation in our online community. Not only can you connect with other job seekers and peers, but you can also get help from Indeed employees and professional career coaches. You can continue the conversation we started today by heading over to the Indeed community and participating in the online discussion there. And if you have any other questions about virtual hiring events, please feel free to hop over to the community thread at go.indeed.com/VHE, and our team will continue to answer your questions there. Thank you again for tuning in, and best of luck to you in your job search.